So you need background singers again for the rap song, number one. For the outro, it's like, whoa, 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 Willie the vegan. Whoa, 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 Willie the vegan. And overlaps with the other melody. Willie the vegan was a stand-up comedian. 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 Whoa, 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 Willie the vegan. So the first song is pretty rap, funky type of feel. I don't know what the beat would be like, but it would be around something very mellow paced rap song for maybe a Somali pirate in my next life. It's just the intro to some of the thoughts I'm having. This album's still very fresh in my head, but I'm trying to write a song like every Sunday right now. So this is song one. Maybe a Somali pirate in my next life. Basically, if I was gonna make this into an animation, this album, I said it before, it's supposed to be like Yellow Submarine or Yoshimi versus the Pink Robots, like very playful stuff. So, in the animation, if that ever happened, Willie the Vegan, he gets canceled for telling a really stupid joke, but that's for a later song when I get into that more. So basically, the first animation when the song plays, it just shows Willie the Vegan leaving the comedy club all depressed as people boo him and throw stuff at him. And right now, I didn't know what kind of joke would get him canceled, but I just wanted to make it really stupid. And so I just came up with a knock knock joke. And it's so like inoffensively stupid that it makes the point, the ironic point, I guess, that I'm trying to make, that you can get pretty much canceled for anything if people want to cancel you, I guess. So I'll just say it now, 'cause this might change anyway, but it's the most stupid knock knock joke in the world. Knock knock. This is what he tells at the comedy club that gets him canceled. Knock knock. Who's there? The entire world. The entire world who? The entire world sucks. It's just so stupid. That's what he gets canceled for. I might come up with something more, I don't know, original or more specific to some topic. I don't know. But I guess he's just like, when he's a comedian, he's just an old. I don't know how old he is really. I don't know. I haven't storyboarded this and drew what the characters look like or anything. I have no idea what these characters will look like. Some cartoonish figures. But this song is a rap song. The hook. Well, I just sang the outro in the beginning because that was fresh in my head. I just came up with that. I picture like background singers. Whoa, 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 Willie the Vegan. So that's kind of catchy, but that's basically the outro, maybe. Maybe the intro and outro. And overlapping with Willie the Vegan was a stand-up comedian. Willie the Vegan was a stand-up comedian. Willie the Vegan. And yeah, these are very simple melodies that can get explored by the background singers if they come up with cooler stuff. I don't know. I always listen to Pink Floyd documentaries about Dark Side of the Moon and how they got that singer to do the Great Gig in the Sky, and they just told her to, I don't know, sing crazy stuff, and she just absolutely went to another world melodically. So that's kind of what I would shoot for. You're always shooting for something improvised that doesn't take a lot of thought and technical writing. You just improvise stuff. That's the coolest stuff to me. Like the first song on Maggot Brain, they just told, I guess it was Eddie Hazel. I don't know the names that well. Maggot Brain, Funkadelic. The story was like they told him just to pretend someone close to him died or something, and he just came up with a crazy guitar solo riff thing, and it's just crazy good. So yeah, improvisation's cool, man. It could get you in trouble too, I guess, because everything has to be edited. It goes to this song. That's kind of the theme of this song. Like, some of the best art is probably improvised. Richie Havens, I talked about before. Richie Havens, the Freedom song that he played at Woodstock, which is like such a good song. And supposedly he just improvised it. Maybe he had some of those melodies in his head from other times. I don't know. That just seems crazy to me to just take the stage and just jam on your guitar and come up with a song that good. It's crazy. So, should I really read these lyrics? I guess so, but I don't really know how these would be rapped, or the melody behind it, the riffs behind it, the beats. I don't know that stuff yet. But I'll do these spoken word verses because they're pretty short anyway. This is verse 1. Please desist with brewing thoughts in my veins or words in my mouth or data up in the clouds or snapping pics on the fly within the smoky subconscious. Be the leader of your own free world, purveyor of the optic nerve. Serve whoever needs to be served, but don't ask me for that whatever humanitarian code, because the math from those heights can merely estimate the absurd. There's no white or black in any fully conscious state, just platelets, plasma, and a freed will to donate. Your entire life might become orchestrated into an unparalleled art project, especially when every inkling jailed within your cells gets instantly ingested and reflected by those shadowed and undue. So just try to keep it simple enough to maintain a fraction of the majority's quote status, and do as many good deeds as you're able to manage. Maybe a Somali pirate in my next life. So I'm not even rapping this really. It's just spoken word. That would be similar to how I'm doing it now. And just have some relaxed, jazzy vibes behind it. I mentioned this before, but there's a jazz series that's called Jazz is Dead. If you never checked it out, check it out on Bandcamp or whatever. It's Jazz is Dead, and they have like all these volumes of crazy talented jazz players, singers, and all kinds of crazy spiritual jazz, free jazz. There's like a Latin flavor to it. Jazz is Dead. Check it out. I think it's so underrated. I never really heard people talk about it, but it's just so good. I only listened to like 3 or 4 of them, but they were really good. I think there's like 20 of these volumes or whatever. So yeah, it would be some jazzy hooks to this, jazzy melodies, and as I do the spoken word, I guess, or because it's not really rapping. But again, this could evolve into something else. I'm not really sure. Last night I was going through the story of what Willie the Vegan, what the story would be like, and I have a general plot or whatever, which I talked about in the other post. But I wanted to mix it up, so there's 10 songs, and every other song is a rap song. So there's 5 rap songs, starting with this first one, if you could call it a rap song. It's more just spoken word, but whatever, whatever. And then the next song would be just some trippy psychedelic concoction with maybe minimal lyrics, because honestly, I don't feel like writing a lot of stuff for this. I want it to just be lighthearted and more of a story, but this is how this first song came out so far. So the second song that I'll try to write next week, which I started to do already, I'll try to have it more lighthearted, melodic with vocal melodies and maybe more in tune with Yellow Submarine stuff. I haven't had time. I was supposed to listen to that and some other concept albums, but I've kind of been all over the place listening to music. There is a hook to this song. I'm not sure how it will go. Parody in the NFL. Some clarity to admit the spell. Like a recipe for heaven or the novelty of hell. Something like that, something simple. Parody in the NFL. Some clarity to admit the spell. Like a recipe for heaven or the novelty of hell. And, you got to picture it with background singers doing this with harmonies and stuff. It would be pretty cool. But, alright, let me get through the second verse I just wrote not too long ago before I did this recording. A comedy of fools to approach the dawning with the upper hand, and a notice to vacate the mind-numbing reprimands. For the lifetime with service surely grants the promised land, but whose promise planned? And why do all these promises escalate through revelation-bound last stands? Googling diseases might make your eyes bleed. Not like a miracle, but more akin to some midsummer lottery. With Florence Pugh, crowned May Queen, to dance away the rage, lust, and greed, and to renew the tribe's commodified collective esteem. Hopefully, the greater human routine automates the noblest grace and replicates the allergy-free taste of paste to ensure nobody starves or wastes away in fear unlaced, as the casket never placates the ill-fated race to maintain some allegiance to our history constantly replaced. Maybe a Somali pirate in my next life. And then we'll go into the outro, which I did in the beginning. Whoa, 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 Willie the Vegan. Overlapping with Willie the Vegan was a stand-up comedian. Or something like that. I don't even know how that would go. Willie the Vegan was a stand-up comedian. Willie the Vegan. That's more funky, I think. Was a stand-up comedian. Willie the Vegan was a stand-up comedian. I don't know if these are really trippy songs, because I said I wanted to make this kind of a psychedelic, fun album like that, but I'm just going where the muse is taking me. This is very almost improvised right now, because I don't know really what this song is yet. And I don't know if I could really force myself to know. Like, I don't know how to write music anyway, but if I could, like, it would just kind of flow naturally. I kind of like that appeal to a lot of my albums. Just when I try to write the music, it just comes out then. And just don't overthink things, because people can overthink everything. And sometimes it's good, sometimes you might ruin something. But I guess the best thing is, I've heard before, is you just have to let things sit for a week or two. I used to watch this show on Amazon Prime, Landscape Artist or Portrait Artist. It's like in the BBC channel. or it's based in the UK. It's really good. They get all these artists to paint landscapes or portraits of famous people, and a lot of the artists are like, they have to send in their artwork to get judged to go on the show, and they're like, yeah, this one took me six months to paint or whatever. Like, or some of them say like maybe 8 hours, 40 hours. This one took me 10 hours to paint. Like, I don't know. Everyone works differently, but I guess you just know if something's good if you believe in something. And yeah, it's similar. Like painting's different, I guess. But I don't know. I look at some famous paintings and I just don't understand why it's famous sometimes. But anyway, this is how the first song is coming out. Some of the thoughts I have in my head right now. Um, but I already talked about the story pretty much. It didn't change that much, but I'm thinking in terms of animation because I've been watching Rick and Morty lately, and I think that's like the best show. It's still such a great show, man. This season of Rick and Morty, I just watched the episode where Jerry like meets his other Jerry and they travel through the closet to experience other dimensions of Jerry's life. It was so good, man. There's a lot of good episodes of Rick and Morty if you're into that show. Like, I think it's probably the only show that makes me laugh out loud. Maybe Always Sunny in Philadelphia as well, but Rick and Morty, yeah, they have so much freedom to create all these crazy imaginary plot lines and satire, and they probably do it better than anyone. But I don't watch a lot of animation on Adult Swim anymore, so there's probably a lot of good stuff out there that I don't know about. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Rick and Morty, that type of humor, that type of just irreverence, I guess. Sometimes they go kind of gutsy in terms of political humor or social commentary. But it's nothing crazy. Like Family Guy does the same thing, South Park. That's what makes those shows so good is, you know, there's parts of the human condition or society that you just have to laugh about because it just gets too ridiculous to analyze. Maybe that's what this album's trying to do in a way. But I really just want to write some fun songs, man. I always feel like I try to get too serious and critical about stuff and it gets kind of boring. So I just want to write some fun stuff with cool visuals, but I'll see where the rest of this goes. But that's all for now. I'll try to do another song 2 next Sunday and try to do this album differently where I just write one song every Sunday and see how that goes.